is time. It is time to brew your best beer.
The 2019 SJ Porr Challenge Gold sponsors. A special thanks to double gold sponsor Bouncer, keeping the dregs out with an inline filter for homebrewers. BrewTubers Online Brewers Club, forums, recipes, and news updates, and more. Yakima Valley Hops, fresh from the source to your kettle. Omega Yeast Labs, fresh, healthy, unique yeast. Jaded Brewing, home of the fastest immersion wort chiller, the Hydra. Kempfo's 2001 CTSP Pink, the world's favorite chlorinated homebrew cleaner with a unique pink color indicator. And our silver sponsor, the Brew Bag, simply the easiest way to brew great beers at home.
What's going on, guys? Nick Lesagore here, Exit 12 Brewery in the house, back for another beer judging / review for the 2019 SJ Porr Challenge. This time around, I have an 8% IPA, and it's from Entrant with the ID number U92-RD1-55K. Again, it's an IPA. It doesn't list if it's a West Coast IPA, like a traditional IPA or a New England IPA. It just says IPA, and it's 8%. One thing I do like about this entry, everybody did a great job with packaging. So thank you for that. As a hub, it made it easier. So everyone did a great job with packaging, so thumbs up on that aspect. But what I like about this entrant is I can tell it's definitely carbonated. I can see the bubbles still in the bottle. But the cap, I don't know if you can see it, but the cap is one of those cool releasing caps. Basically, when the beer is cold, when the cap comes into contact with the cold, it'll turn the beer logo yellow, which is pretty cool. Or maybe the cap turns blue. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one it is, but regardless, a pretty cool cap. I remember I was using them when I first started home brewing, so it's cool to see those caps still pop up from time to time. We're going to open this and pour it out. Ooh, very nice pop. Bubbles rising up a little bit. We'll see how it's carbonated. Looks like it's settled pretty well. Let's pour this out. All right. Just off the top, it probably is a New England IPA, just because it looks a little looks cloudy. Trying to get rid of some of that chill haze. It definitely has some nice bubbles to it. You want to take a look. A little on the darker side. It's very decently opaque. I hate using the word, but I don't know. Just by looking at it, it does look a little brown. It may be oxidated, but I don't want to really make that statement until we try it. But I'm thinking it's a New England IPA. I didn't pour it all out because I'm not sure if it was bottle conditioned or keg conditioned, and I don't know what the intention for the IPA is, because if it's supposed to be like a West Coast IPA, you don't want the dregs sitting in the glass while you're drinking it. But I don't think it's a traditional. Excuse me. I don't think it's a traditional. I think it's a New England IPA. So let's get a nose on it. Interesting. So I get some pineapple characteristics. Maybe some melon as well. Some nice melon characteristics on it. It's got a nice sweetness to it. I'd be intrigued to see what this person used for a base grain, because the sweetness really kind of shines through nicely. Oh yeah, now I'm picking up some really nice papaya. Peach too. maybe some minor stone fruit as well. Maybe some overripe cantaloupe. I'm definitely getting some nice fruit on the nose. Also, really nice sweet backbone on the back end of the nose. It's got a really nice, almost like sugary, grapefruit sugary kind of aspect to it. But the flavor is definitely jumping out pretty well. Holding it up to the light. Obviously, like I said, it's definitely very opaque. Maybe a slight golden. It's tough to tell because the light doesn't really travel through it. But I'm excited. Let's get a taste on this. All right. All right, so it has a bitterness that kind of runs through all the way from beginning to end. Not really indicative of a New England IPA, if that's what it is. But again, it's hard to tell because this entrant didn't only listed it as an IPA. It's fairly heavy on the kind of I suspect the oxidation, so it's fairly heavy on like a cardboardy kind of taste. Again, I don't know how this was bottled or whatnot, but it is nicely carbonated. It's probably a little too carbonated. It could probably kind of have it could be a touch less carbonated. I think between the bitterness and the carbonation, I'm finding it a little difficult to kind of pull those fruit flavors out that were on the nose. The nose was pretty great. It had some really nice fruit flavors. It was like tropical mixed with stone fruit. It was really interesting. I'd be intrigued to see what hops were used. Maybe Galaxy, because I got some or maybe Mosaic. I got some really nice, really deep fruit flavors. But in terms of the taste, I'm finding it a little difficult to kind of pull some flavors off of it. I'm definitely getting the bitterness. I'm getting a little bit of that oxidation, possibly cardboardy flavor. Yeah. Maybe some orange, slight orange, possibly. I think that cantaloupe, just as it's warmed here for a minute or so, that cantaloupe kind of comes through a little bit on the taste for sure. But I'm gonna take some time with this, and I'm gonna come back with hopefully some more tasting notes. All right, I took some time with this. As it warms, the fruit flavors come out a little bit more. Definitely get more of that cantaloupe. Tiny bit more of the pineapple. But as it warms, that kind of cardboardy off flavor, unfortunately, comes through a little bit too much. As I mentioned in one of the other videos, it's very tough to enter hoppy light beers in competitions where you're shipping. There are just too many variables, and so it can be really hit or miss. So this beer definitely has some great aspects of it. I think the craftsmanship you can really taste. I think the sweetness of the malt body is really nice. You know, I think that the bitterness is probably a little too strong for my liking. I think a more smooth bitterness, would really even out this beer pretty well. And I would love to taste it fresh from the tap or from like a fresh bottle. But otherwise, looks like it's on to the next. Thank you so much for entering the SJ Porr Challenge, and cheers.